Hello everyone, join me for an assigned practice test from Pearson. I have bought a silver package and I have like four sample exams available. So I had taken a one last month, so I'm gonna take the next one today. So I thought I will record and you guys can join me for the same. So let's be ready with a notepad, pencils or pen for the writing. Let's start the exam. First one is read aloud. Extrovert tends to move quickly and try to influence situations directly, while introverts give themselves time to develop their insights before exposing them to the world. Extroverts are happy making decisions in the thick of events, while introverts want to reflect before taking action. Extroverts, introverts. Extroverts tend to move quickly and try to influence situations directly, while introverts give themselves time to develop their insights before exposing them to the world. Extroverts are happy making decisions in the thick of events, while introverts want to reflect making taking decision. The purpose of the informative speech is to provide interesting, useful, and unique information to your audience. By dedicating yourself to the goal of providing information and appealing to your audience, you can take a positive step towards succeeding in your efforts as an informative speaker. Dedicating yourself to the goal. The purpose of the informative speech. The purpose of the informative speech is to provide interesting, useful, and unique information to your audience. By dedicating yourself to a goal of providing information and appealing to your audience, you can take a positive step towards succeeding in your efforts as an informative speaker. Most of us spend most of us spend on average 1800 hours per year in our job and will work for about 40 years before retirement. When you consider the amount of time spent in the office, you soon realize how important it is to feel a sense of achievement at the end of the day, rather than just meeting financial objectives. Financial financial Most of us spend an average of 1800 hours per year in our jobs and will work for about 40 years before retirement. When you consider the amount of time spent in the office, you soon realize how important it is to feel a sense of achievement at the end of the day, rather than just meeting financial objectives. Quite obviously, a significant rise in the number of people in a given area or country will affect the demand for a host of goods and services. Not that a change in the structure of the population will increase the demand for some goods but reduce the demand for others. A whole a whole host of goods and services. Quite obviously, a significant rise in the number of people in a given area or country will affect the demand for a whole host or goods of services. Note that a change in the structure of the population will increase the demand for some goods but reduce the demand for others. No. With a population of only just over 30 million living in the world's second largest country, Canada is just renowned for vast tracts of wilderness untroubled by pollution either from industry or from intensive farming methods. A major conservation issue is the battle to stop the logging of virgin forest in northern Ontario and on the west coast. With a population of only just over 30 million living in the world's second largest country, Canada is just renowned for vast tracts of dashed untroubled by pollution either from industry or from intensive farming methods. A major conservation issue is the battle to stop the logging of virgin forest in northern Ontario and on the west coast. Yet this landscape, which appeared so alien and confronting to the white settlers and explorers, had been home for thousands of years to indigenous Australians for whom the plains, ranges, and deserts were a sustaining, spiritual, and integral part of their existence. Indigenous Australian for Yet this landscape, which appeared so alien and confronting to the white settlers and explorers, had been home for thousands of years to indigenous Australians for whom the plains, ranges, and deserts were a sustaining, spiritual, and integral part of their existence. The interlu- the interludes the interludes which break up the gameplay action and which, because they can be made to a higher level of animation, often provide the most visually arresting sequences of a game, combined with a taste of bizarrely complicated recursive plots, the long consequences of wordy explicatory dialogue. This turns the game into a bit of a drag. Oh my god, bizarrely complicated recursive plots. The interludes which break up the gameplay action and which, because they can be made to a higher level of animation, often provide the most visually arresting sequence of a game, combined with the taste of bizarrely complicated recursive plots and long sequence of wordy explicit dialogues. This turns the game into a bit of a drag.
The elephant is the largest living land mammal.
The elephant is the largest land-living mammal.
There are lots of opportunities to meet new people in this course.
There are a lot of opportunities to meet new people in this course.
The computer crashed and I hadn't saved my work.
The computer crashed and I hadn't saved my work.
You must include your name and identity number on the registration form.
You must include your name and ID on the registration form.
The main issue is to decide how we want to launch the new product.
The main issue is to decide how we have to launch the new product.
This paper is the best one to look at first.
This paper is the best one to look at first.
What's going on that can help patients leave their fears at the door?
What's going on that they can leave the patients refused at the door?
Inflation rose by 2% over this time last year.
Inflation grows by 2% this year than last year.
Applicants for the course should preferably have a degree in English or journalism.
Applicants for the course preferably have a degree in English or other something.
After 1830, periodicals appeared in large numbers in America.
After 1830, periodic became a large number in Australia and America.
Soil erosion can be caused by increased rainfall and changes in plant growth.
Soil erosion can be caused by increased rainfall and changes in plant growth. This is a bar chart. Volunteers who inquired expenses, reimbursement available. Postage, phone calls, meals, training, travel costs, uniform, other. The bar chart in front of me represents the cost for volunteers who incurred expenses and reimbursement available for different options like postage, phone call, and meals. From the image, I can see that the highest expense was for postage, which is nearly 40%. The second highest among the listed is for phone calls, which is nearly 20%. The lowest expense incurred reimbursement is for uniform, which is nearly 10%. Overall, the image gives me a very good idea about how reimbursement happens for volunteering incurred expenses. Education base. Unemployment rates in 2007. Median weekly earnings in 2007. Median weekly earnings in 2007. Unemployment rates in 2007. The bar chart in front of me represents educational pays, unemployment rates, and median weekly earnings in 2007. From the image, I can see that for associate degree, the unemployment rates in 2007 were around 3%, whereas their median weekly earnings were $740, whereas for doctoral degree the unemployment rates were 1.4%, whereas their median weekly earnings were nearly $1,497. Overall, the image gives me a good idea about the education pays for unemployment. Oh my god, what is this? Comparison of the fundamental needs model with Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Security needs, status esteem needs, stimulation needs. Physiological needs is the self-actualization. The pyramid in front of me represents comparison of fundamental needs model with Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. From the image, I can see the basic needs for human are status, esteem needs, stimulation needs, and security needs. From the pyramid, it is evident that physiological needs like food, water, shelter, and warmth take the first precedence. Then safety needs like freedom from fear gets the second position. The least position is for creativity and fulfillment related needs. Overall, the image gives me a lot of information about human needs. I can do this.
Coming out of the 19th century with all that happened, and so quickly, some of these ideas, some of these theories, like thermodynamics and kinetic theory, they didn't blend the way they should have. Thermodynamics has its roots in matter, how material things respond to heat and temperature and so forth. The laws of thermodynamics were thought to be absolute. Now take kinetic theory. If matter consists of atoms in random motion, and that's what matter is, then you open up the possibility that there will be fluctuations in samples of matter such that the laws of thermodynamics can momentarily be violated. Are the laws of thermodynamics valid? Absolute? Are they obeyed statistically? On average, they're obeyed, but they can be violated during unusual times, all right?
speaker was discussing the importance of thermodynamics. He mentioned that thermodynamics has its roots. He also talks about how material respond to heat determines thermodynamics. Then he talks about the law of thermodynamics is absolute. He also mentioned about the kinetic energy which fluctuate with sample of matter. Finally, he concluded that thermodynamics can be violated diversity in unusual time. Overall, the lecture gives me a lot of information.
What is the term for the money people pay to the government to support public services?
Tax.
What material is normally used to make windows and light bulbs?
Glass.
Who prepares and sells medicine in a shop or hospital?
Pharmacist.
Where on a college campus would a periodicals collection be located?
Lab.
What is the inedible center of a peach, cherry, or grape called?
Seed.
To find a detailed topographical map of Africa, what kind of reference book would be best to use?
Map. Okay, this is our summarized written text. Half a lifetime ago, I made a lifestyle choice to exchange a city terrace for a farm cottage. I knew it was a good idea because I had been there before, born and reared on a farm. I had been seduced for a few years by the idea of being a big shot who lived and worked in the city rather than only going for the day to work at the buses. That also meant I was familiar with some of the minor disadvantages of the country living, such as an uncertain water supply, the absence of central heating in most farmhouses, and single track road easily blocked by snow, broken down machinery or escape from. But there are many advantages that I told my young wife back in the mild 70s. She might have been hard to persuade, as she was town born and Fred and 8 months pregnant. I was trying to persuade her that exchanging a warm large townhouse for a windweb farm cottage on a much lower income was a good idea. Half a lifetime ago, I made a lifetime choice to exchange a city terrace, and also meant I was familiar with some of the minor disadvantages of the country living, such as display. I had been seduced for a few years by the but I was trying to but I was trying to. Half a lifetime ago, I made a lifestyle choice to exchange a city terrace farm for a farm cottage, and I had been seduced for few years by the idea of being short who lived and worked in the city rather than only going for the day to work at the buses. But I was trying to persuade her that exchanging farm persuade her. No, it wouldn't work. I was trying to persuade my wife that okay, good idea. Next. The means of communicating in society today has changed markedly over the last 10 years. In my opinion, what are the positive and negative impacts of this change? Okay, the means of communicating in society today has changed markedly over the last 10 years. Fast-paced growth of communication tools in today's world. Fast-paced growth of communication tools in today's technology-driven world has become However, it is evident that advancements in the communication systems have significant impact on human life. Set an example on this matter. People from different countries are now working together in a single project, because of the instant peer-to-peer review and feedbacks. Peer-to-peer reviews and feedbacks shared on calls on the other hand, the advancements in communication system has few drawbacks, has few limitations, few negative impacts as well. On the other hand, advancements in communication system impacts as well. What is the negative impact? Furthermore, connection during a face-to-face conversation. Correspondingly, critical element of this is that people are becoming lazy to travel and connect with people. as everything can be done from home. Thus, a clear example of this in practice is the work from home options. Work from working from office post COVID. This office jobs without any personal connections with colleagues. Colleagues and mates. In conclusion, even though today's communication systems have few limitations, overall it is undeniable that the positive impacts of technology-driven system are overwhelming. Oh, no. Maybe I will just save it and leave it. I have saved it for later. The fast-paced growth of communication tools in today's technology-driven world has become a matter of discussion. The point of condension calls for its analysis from various perspectives. However, it is evident that advancements in the communication systems have significant impact on human life. At the outset, there are several reasons why it can be stated that communication advancement over past 10 years have a lot of positive impact on our society. First of all, this has made our life easy by providing ways to communicate from different parts of the world. Moreover, it is crucial to note that new technologies like WhatsApp, internet calls and Zoom meetings play an important role in our daily personal and professional life. To cite an example on this matter, people from different countries are now working together in a single project because of the instant peer-to-peer reviews and feedback shared over internet calls. On the other hand, the advancements in the communication system have few negative impacts as well. Firstly, we are lacking the emotional connection during a face-to-face conversation. Correspondingly, a critical element of this is that people are becoming lazy to travel as everything can be done from home. There's a clear example of this in practice is the working from home jobs without any personal connections with colleagues and teammates. In conclusion, even though today's communication system have few limitations, overall it is undeniable that the positive impact of technology driven systems are overwhelming.